Hi, this is Mr. Anderson. Say, I'm coming to you today. I talked to a lot of parents and a lot of students about this idea during conferences. I wanted to send this out to everybody um, to kind of help you maximize your learning. Basically, what it is, it's the grand idea is how can my student, or how can I, if I am the student, be better prepared to maximize my learning? And basically, show that on the test. Um, the idea I'm going to share with you is what I call the Julia Sonnenberg plan. For those of you that don't know Julia Sonnenberg, she was a student of mine last year. And some of the best learning that we can kind of do, and some of the best learning I do, a lot of times comes from my past students. And Julia did this, and this was an incredible thing that she did. And yet it's something so simple that I think all my students could do, and I think it would really help prepare them better. It would give them better learning, so they can then demonstrate that learning on a test, and thus maximize their grade. And a lot of you, that's important to you. So here's the plan. So the very first thing Julia did is every day or every time before a test, we go through. Whoops, didn't mean to put that out there already, but every time before a test, maybe we go over a review for what's going to be on the test. And I review with the students up on the board, and maybe this test is going to be a 7-question test. And on the test, there's going to be question 1 is some diamond problems. Question 2 would be systems of equation problems. Question 3 might be a one-step variable problem. Question 4 would be a proportions problem. Question 5 is a multi-step equations problem. Question 6, we're hitting our y equals mx plus b problems, and then question 7, we've got to graph those y equals mx plus b problems. Well, what Julia would do is she would take really good notes, and first of all, I encourage everyone to take really good notes, but then she would go home, and at night she would be studying these notes the day before the test. And as she studied them, one of the things she did in particular is she would go through which problems she knew and which ones she didn't. So diamond problems. Julia was always wonderful at diamond problems. She would probably put a check mark by that, saying, nope, I've got this one. I'm going to rock that one. Systems of equations, she might go, I'm not totally sure on that one. So she would circle that one. And then next one-step variables. Oh, I got that one. I can rock that. So I'll put a check mark by that. Number 4, proportions. I've got that one down. No big deal. I'll put a check mark by that one. Question 5, the multi-step. Oh, that's those fraction expressions equaling a number. Those were the hard ones on Khan Academy. I'm not sure I know those very well. Question 6, y equals mx plus b. Yeah, I've got those, she might say. And then graphing. Oh, I know how to graph those as well. So she'd go through the ones. She would kind of put a check mark by the ones she knows how to do. And she might circle or star the ones that she's not as confident in. Then what she would do, and I thought this was brilliant, and I offer this to all students, is she would come in the morning of the test. So the morning of the test, she would come into my room, and as most of you should know by now, I am always here by 7 a.m. every single day, and you're welcome to come in every single day for extra help if you want it. But Julia chose to come in the day of the test for extra help, and she would come up to me and say, Mr. Anderson, can you give me another problem like the systems of equation one? So I'd go, sure. So I would, write up a quick question for her. And can you also give me one on multi-step equations? So I would give her an extra problem on there. What was cool is then she would do those 2 problems. She'd bring it up to me and ask me how'd I do on these. So we'd go through them, and, invariably sometimes she would make some mistakes or wasn't quite doing everything right on some of them, and then we could kind of talk about that and work through those things real quickly. It really didn't take that much time, but we'd work through them. And then she would say, all right, can you give me another one now, systems of equations that she struggled on? And she might even, let's say she did the multi-step and she got that one right. She would even ask for another one on the multi-step and just say, I just want to do it 2 times in a row correctly to make sure I know what I'm doing. Well, the next time she'd bring those up to me, maybe this time she did get the systems of equations right, and yes, again, she got the multi-step equations right. So in her mind, she would say, okay, now I'm good on multi-step, but can you give me one more systems of equations just so I know I've got that? So I'd give her one more, and if she got that one right for a second time in a row, then she'd change those both to check marks, and she was all set for her test. It was kind of funny because I got the idea. She didn't truly smile when I gave her a test, but it was like I felt inside of her when I would give her the test that day that she was smiling because she knew how prepared for that test she was. And there's a reason why Julia Sonnenberg scored very high, and I would say extremely high, on every single test I gave her. She was a rock star, and a big reason she was a rock star last year is because she would come in the day of every single test, and she would have me write up questions for anything she wasn't 100% positive. I started thinking to myself, what if all my students did this? Well, then all my students would be scoring significantly higher on their tests, and all of my students could do exactly what Julia Sonnenberg's doing, and making sure they've maximized their own education. So, I have talked to Julia Sonnenberg. She gave me permission to use her name in this video. And I also talked to her mother, and she gave me permission as well. So any of you who know Julia Sonnenberg, you know who I'm talking about. She works very hard. She does a great job. But this was one idea I thought I could pass on to all of you that she does that would really probably help your student do better. By the way, one last little note here. Julia doesn't just do this for math. I believe she does this for every subject. So she is actually maximizing her education in all subjects. You know, I'm really concerned about your math, but I'm also concerned about all your grades. Not a bad idea to do this for all of your classes as well. I hope this was helpful, and you have a great day. Bye-bye.